गौरंगंधार गिरिधारी शिष्य राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गौरकिशोर बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानुगौरी गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। श्री चैतन्य चरितमृत की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। The Gaudiya Bhashya commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Nimāi Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat Pranams, Nari Hari Prabhu and Kishore Krishna Prabhu. And let's see, Rup Manjari Didi. And if Nitai is there, pranams to Nitai. And Raseshwari Mataji. And Vrishti Roy. Hare Krishna. And I see there's somebody else watching, but there's no comment, so I can't see your name. Alright, so normally I would do a kirtan before the program, but since I'm starting so late today, maybe we should just start the Mangalacharan and continue the reading. Yeah. So I'll share my screen and we do that. Yeah, sorry about starting so late today. Anyways. I woke up a little bit too late this morning and I didn't get time to take a bath, and yeah. Hari Bol Champak Didi. Okay. Ajnanatirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujo kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitaro kamalayataksho vishwambharo dvijavaro yugadharma palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Avatirno Sakarunyo Parichinno Sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje Sajayati Vishuddha Vikrama Kanakabha Kamalaya Tekshana Varajanu vilambisharbhujo Bahudha bhakti rasabhinartaka. Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandro Jayati Jayati Kirtis Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityas Tasya Vishveshamurte Jayati Jayati Nrityang Tasya Sarva Priyanam. Ādi Śrī Caitanya Goshtir Charane Ashesha Prakare Mor Danda Paraname Tabe Vando Shri Krishna Chaitanya Maheshwar Navadvipe Avatar Nama Vishwambhar Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam. Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtakama Ditaranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 8, verses 33 to 42. Ore muro lokshuno Chaitanya manga Chaitanya mahima jate jani beshaka. Sorry, one second. Okay. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas Chaitanya Lila Ravyas Vrindavana Das Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal Chaitanya Nitar Jate Janiye Mahima Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhante Rasima Bhagavate Jatta Bhakti Siddhante Sar Lekhi Achen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar Chaitanya Mangal Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan Sheho Mahavaishnava Hoy Tato Khan Amanushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Śrī Caitanya Vrindavana Dasa Pare Koti Namaskar Aiche Granta Korite Ho Tarila Sangsar Narayani Chaitanyer Uchishta Bhajan Tar Garbe Janmila Śrī Dasa Vrindavan Tar ki Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 4:5. Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amrite Dar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai, Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai, Gaudiya Bhashya of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, let's see, where are we? Oh, Hare Krishna, Amit Prabhu. Amit Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna. So now we will continue on with chapter 12. What is the title? The Lord's Wandering Throughout Navadvip. Kishore Prabhu, would you like to do a recap, or should I just continue reading from where we, like I can just read from yesterday's, just recap a little bit.
Continue reading for today.
Okay. So, yeah, yesterday we read this all a second time, so I'm not going to reread it all again. But this chapter 12, the Lord's wandering throughout Navadvip. So, yeah, no one could stand before Nimāi in debate. In the company of his disciples, Nimāi wandered the streets of Navadvip like an independent lord. One day, by providence, Nimāi met Mukunda on the path and asked him why he stayed away from him. And then Nimāi also told Mukunda that if he could not answer his question, he would not leave him alone. So knowing Nimāi only had knowledge of grammar, Mukunda thought he would silence Nimāi by asking him questions on alankar. But Nimāi pointed out various faults in his alankaric faults, and he totally broke Mukunda's poetic talent to pieces. Seeing Nimai's unlimited knowledge, Mukunda was astonished, and he resolved, if such an intelligent person became a devotee of Krishna, I would never leave his association. On another day, when Nimai met Gadadhar Pandit, he asked him the symptoms of liberation, and then when Gadadhar Pandit said, mitigation of excessive misery is a symptom of liberation, atyantika dukkha nivritti, then Nimai refuted that. Every afternoon, Nimai discussed the Shastras with students on the bank of the Ganga. And all the Vaishnavas, they were greatly pleased to hear the wonderful explanations of the scriptures, but they thought that if such a learned person as Nimai became a devotee of Krishna, then everything would be successful. So the devotees prayed, let Nimai have attachment for Krishna. Out of love, some devotees blessed him, saying, let Nimai attain devotion to Krishna. Whenever Nimai saw the devotees headed by Srivas, he manifested the pastime of offering obeisances, thus demonstrating by his own behavior that devotional service to Krishna is awakened only by the blessings of devotees. So I'm going to just continue on forward. Oh yeah, we read about when he had the gastric disorder. On the pretext of that, he exhibited some transcendental feelings, emotions. And then after sporting in the water of the Ganga, he used to return home, worship Lord Krishna. He used to worship Krishna, offer water to Tulsi, circumambulate her, and then accept foodstuffs given by Lakshmi Priya. Then he would take rest, and again leave for teaching. On his way, he would talk and joke with the residents of Navadvip. And then we read about how he wandered throughout Navadvip and received different gifts. He received cloth from a weaver. He received yogurt and milk from the cowherd men. He received perfume from the perfume merchant, a garland from the florist, and betel nuts from the pawn merchant. And so he pleased everybody by accepting their free gifts. And then also yesterday we read about the conch merchant giving Nimai a conch. And yeah, and this is very similar to when Krishna roamed about Mathura with his friends and received all those different gifts from the different residents of Mathura. It's like the same. And then yesterday we read about the astrologer. Let's read from this point on in our reading, because astrologer. Okay. In this way, the Lord visited every house in Navadvip. For this reason, even today, the residents of Navadvip attain the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. What verse did we read up to yesterday? We read up to 164. Okay. The supremely independent Lord Gaurachandra then went to the house of an astrologer. As the astrologer saw the effulgence of the Lord, he humbly offered obeisances. The Lord asked him, "I've heard that you are a good astrologer. Could you please tell me who I was in my previous birth?" The pious astrologer agreed to the Lord's request and began to chant the Gopal mantra within his mind. At that moment, the astrologer saw a beautiful blackish personality with 4 hands holding the conch, disc, club, and lotus flower. His chest was decorated with Srivatsa and the brilliantly effulgent Kaustuba gem. He saw the Lord in the prison cell being offered prayers by his parents at the dead of night. He then saw Vasudeva carry the Lord that night to Gokul. The astrologer again saw the Lord as an enchanting 2-armed naked child with a string of small bells around his waist, kinkuni, and butter in his 2 hands. The astrologer saw his worshipable Lord decorated with all the symptoms that he had meditated on. He then again saw the threefold bending form of the Lord playing on his flute and surrounded on all sides by the gopis who were singing and playing various musical instruments. Wow, this astrologer got a lot of mercy, huh? He got to see Krishna surrounded by the gopis even. After seeing this wonderful vision, the astrologer opened his eyes and saw Gauranga standing before him. He then again entered into meditation. The astrologer said, "O Bal Gopal, please listen. Quickly show me who this Brahman was." So he's praying to his lord, Bal Gopal. "Oh Gopal, please show me who this Brahman who came to me, who he is." Okay, so that's where we read to yesterday. Tabe dekhe dhanurdhar durva dala shyam virasane prabhure dekhaye sarvajan. The astrologer then saw the Lord with a greenish durva grass complexion, holding a bow in his hand and sitting on a royal throne. Puna dekhe prabhure pralay jala majhe arbhuta varaha murti dante prithvi saje. Thereafter he saw the Lord in the middle of the waters of devastation. He had the wonderful form of a boar, and he held the earth on his tusks. Puna dekhe prabhure nrisingha avatar maha ugra rupa bhakta vatsala apar. He then saw the Lord as Nrsimha. Although he appeared most ferocious, he was the ultimate well-wisher of his devotees. Puna dekhe tahare vamana rupa dhori bali yagya chalite achen maya kori. Next he saw the form of Vaman, waiting to deceive Bali at his sacrifice. Puna dekhe matsya rupe pralayer jale korite achen jal krida kutuhale. He then saw the form of Matsya, happily sporting in the waters of devastation. Sukriti sarvagya puna dekhaye prabhure matta haladharupa shimushala kare. The pious astrologer then saw the intoxicated form of Lord Balaram, holding a plough and club in his hands. Puna dekhe Jagannatha murti sarvajan madhye shobhe subhadra dakhine Balaram. He next saw the form of Jagannath, with Balaram on his right and Subhadra in between. E mata Ishvara Tattva dekhe sarvajano tatapi na bhuje kichu he no mayatan. In this way, the astrologer saw the Lord's various incarnations, but due to the Lord's illusory energy, he was unable to ascertain the meaning of what he had seen. Chintaye sarvagya mane hoya vismita he no bhuji e brahmana mahamantravita. The astrologer was struck with wonder and thought, I think that this Brahman is an expert in the chanting of mantras. Atava devata kona asya kotuke parakhite amare vachale viprarupe. Otherwise, he may be a demigod who has come disguised as a Brahman to test me. Amanushite jadeki viprer sharire sarvagya koriya kiba kadarte amare. I see a supernatural effulgence emanating from the body of this Brahmana. Has he come to discredit me? Eteka chintite prabhu bolila hasiya ke ami ki dekho kene na kaho bhangiya. The Lord smiled and asked the thoughtful astrologer, Who am I? What did you see? Tell me everything in detail. Sarvagya boloye tumi chaloho ekhone. Should be ekhane, right? Chaloho ekhane bikale kohimu mantra jopi bhalo mane. The astrologer said, Please go home for now. Oh no, it says ekone maybe. Ekon. Yeah. So, tumi choloho ekone. You please go home for now. I will tell you everything in the afternoon after I peacefully chant my mantra. Bhalo bhalo boli prabhu hasiya cholila tobe priya Śrīdharer mandire aila. The Lord said, Bhalo bhalo. Okay, very good. Good. Smiling, the Lord agreed to the astrologer's request and went to the house of his dear friend Śrīdhara. His dear devotee Śrīdhara, Kolā-becā Śrīdhara. Gaudiya Bhashya by Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Śrīdharer Mandir, the house of Śrīdhara, is situated on an elevated tract of land at one end of Mayapur, near the village of Sharadanga, and 1 mile east of Chandkazi Samadhi. There is a small pond nearby. I've never been there. I should go there sometime. I go to Mayapur all the time. Yeah, one day I'll go there. I remember Banmarsh went there once, but I didn't go with him. Śrīdharere Prabhu Boro Prasanna Antare Nana Chale Aisen Prabhu Tana Ghare. Śrīdhara was very dear to the Lord's heart, and the Lord would therefore visit him on various pretexts. Bhako Vakya Parihasa Śrīdharer Sange Dui Chari Danda Kori Chale Prabhu Range. The Lord would tease Śrīdhara in the course of their regular conversations, which would last for an hour or two. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word vakya means conversation, or speaking and hearing. Oh, 1 second. I'm just... Haribol Sudevi Didi. Prabhu dekhi Śrīdhara koriya namaskar, Shraddha kori asana dilen bosibar. When Śrīdhara saw that Nimāi had arrived, he offered him obeisances and a place to sit. Parama Sushanta Śrīdharer Vyavasai Prabhu Viharin Jeno Udhater Prai. Śrīdhara was always peaceful in his behavior, while the Lord enjoyed playing the role of an agitated young man. Śrīdhara was Param Sushanta. The Lord was Udhater Prai. Udhatta. Let's see what Udhatta means in the dictionary. Oops. Okay, so in the Shamshad Bengali dictionary, it says rude, arrogant, haughty, insolent, saucy. I like that. Saucy, impudent, imperious, impertinent, ill-behaved, headstrong, vain. I like the word saucy. Let's see what saucy means. Okay. Bold and lively. Okay. Where was I? Hey. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Udatta. Kolā-becā. The word vyavasaya means behavior, dealings, or nature. The phrase uddater prai refers to an externally mischievous display of arrogance while actually benefiting the living entities by accepting service. Right, so Śrīdhara is Param Sushanta and Mahaprabhu is Uddatta. Prabhu bole Śrīdhara tumi jai anukhan, Hari Hari bolo tabe dukha ki karan. The Lord said, Śrīdhara, you always chant the name of Hari, so why are you always afflicted by poverty? Lakshmi kante sevan koriya kene tumi anna vastre dukha pao kaho dekhi shuni. Can you please tell me why, after serving the beloved Lord of Lakshmi, you do not get sufficient food and clothes? The Lord of Lakshmi? You're worshipping the Lord of Lakshmi and still you don't get food or clothes? What's going on? Kolā-becā. Lord Narayan is the omnipotent sole proprietor of unlimited opulences. In order to test his own servant, Śrīdhara, the Lord asked him why the servants of Narayan remain afflicted with poverty in this world, even though they are eligible for the wealth of their Lord. Although the followers of Shakta philosophy who wish to mitigate their poverty or gratify their senses and fulfill their self-interest offer water and tulsi leaves at the feet of Lord Narayan and thus receive mundane opulences or temporary benefits, they do not achieve eternal good fortune. But the fully surrendered servants of Narayan who are engaged in unalloyed service do not accept any exchange for their service. In order to exhibit the ideal example of such Vaishnav qualities, the Lord's associates from Vaikuntha display various poverty-stricken pastimes. By such pastimes, however, they do not feel any misery. They have the following strong conviction at heart. Tomara sevai dukkha hoi jato, sheo to parama sukha. Whatever misery comes in the course of your service is my greatest happiness. They do not desire anything from the Lord for their own sense gratification. But foolish persons, through material vision inspired by external considerations, think that Vaishnavas are afflicted by various needs. Since due to a lack of wealth, Śrīdhara or other pure devotees of the Lord appear from the material point of view unable to accumulate fine items of enjoyment for dressing and eating like ordinary people, such questions may naturally arise. This is clearly seen in this conversation between Śrīdhara and Śrī Gaurasundar. Śrīdhara bolen upavasa to na kori, chota hok bora hok vastra dekho pari. Śrīdhara replied, "At least I am not starving, and whether small or large, I am still wearing some cloth." Gaudiya Bhashya. In reply to Nimāi's question, Śrīdhara said, "I have no difficulties due to a lack of food and clothing. I do not completely fast. I eat something or another. Though I do not have the opportunity to wear fine clothing, I cover myself somehow with torn cloth." Hare Krishna, Shubhananta Prabhu. Prabhu bole dekhilaya ganti dasha thai ghare bolo dekhitechi khada gachi nai. The Lord said, "But I see your cloth is mended in 10 places, and the roof of your cottage has no straw." Gaudiya Bhashya. The word ganti, a corrupted form of the Sanskrit word granthi, means knotted, tied, or sewn. The Lord then said, "I can see that there are many knots all over your old torn cloth, and there are many holes in the thatched roof of your old cottage. Dekho e chandi vishahari re pujiya, kena ghare khai pore shaba nagariya." Look at other people. They worship Chandi or Vishahari, so they have no scarcity for food or cloth. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Lord further said, "Just see how the followers of Shakta philosophy live happily and comfortably, not by worshipping the eternally revered Supreme Lord, but by worshipping Chandika Devi, who awards benedictions for sense gratification like wealth, followers, and conquest of enemies, and by worshipping Vishahari, who destroys the fear of snakes. And you have brought on yourself this pathetic condition by engaging in the service of the Lord without expressing any desire for material happiness and comfort." Through this question put before the great devotee Śrīdhara, Śrī Gaurasundar revealed the mentality of pure Vaishnavas and illustrated proper philosophy. In Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur's famous book named Jaiva Dharma, the mentality of the Shakta philosophy followers who desire material advancement is described. We can see by his description that communities desirous of material advancement and puffed up with false pride based on perishable material wealth, followers, knowledge, and their deceitful civilization are cheated out of achieving the ultimate goal of life on account of seeing the external poverty of the Vaishnavas and attributing various needs and abominations on the Vaishnavas. Actually, they do not understand that the Vaishnavas alone are the rightful heirs to Lord Narayan's entire sixfold opulences. Śrīdhara bolen vipra bolila uttamam, tathapi sabar kal jai ekasama. Śrīdhara then replied, "O Brahmana, what you say is indeed correct, yet the time passes equally for everyone. Ratna ghare thake raja, divya khai pore, pakhigan thake dekho vrikher upare." The king has jewels in his house, and he eats opulent food. Meanwhile, the birds live in trees. Kala punya sabar samana hoy jai, shabe nija karma bhunje ishvara ichai. Yet time passes equally for everyone, as they all enjoy the fruits of their previous activities by the will of the Lord. Gaudiya Bhashya. In reply to the Lord's question, Śrīdhara Vipra said, although according to mundane calculation, the worshippers of the demigods who do not worship Vishnu appear superior, the Vaishnavas and non-Vaishnavas both pass their lives in the same way. Actually, non-Vaishnavas are busy making arrangements for their comfortable material happiness through material advancement, while remaining indifferent to the service of Lord Hari. And the Vaishnavas are always busy. They are always busy serving the Lord, while remaining indifferent to material advancement, and thus they have no opportunity to act as sense enjoyers. As a king lives in his palace, which is full of unlimited jewels, pearls, wealth, and opulences, receiving unlimited care, affection, and respect from his many order carriers, servants, and associates, and thus passes his time accumulating many valuable foodstuffs and clothes that he desires. In a similar way, birds who are nourished without endeavor by Mother Nature also build their nests with straws and grasses at the tops of high trees and pass their time accumulating their respective foods from here and there by their own hard labor, without the help of anyone else. Everyone passes their life in the same way, and everyone lives within this world, enjoying the happiness and distress of their own karma. As a result of my karma, I am also passing my time in the service of the Lord according to my own intelligence, and taste without desire. I'm also passing my time in the service of the Lord according to my own intelligence, and taste without desiring external material advancement. Therefore, according to material calculation, I have no necessities at all. Those with equal vision do not discriminate between objects of sense enjoyment. Those with equal vision do not discriminate between objects of sense enjoyment. Rather, discriminating between inferior and superior objects of sense enjoyment simply indicates one's likes and dislikes. In ancient times, due to the scarcity of varieties of enjoyment, like good food and clothing, people were extremely poor and narrow-minded. In the course of time, people gradually became more busy in activities of material sense enjoyment, and continued such endeavors with the support of mundane physics and science. If we minutely study, however, we will see that there is not much difference between the people's happiness and distress in the two time periods. Although there is certainly an increase and decrease in the necessities of life, since conditioned souls welcome enjoyment of the fruits of their activities according to their respective desires, all living entities pass their time in the same way. But those who are devotees of the Lord achieve happiness from His service. They achieve happiness from His service, and thus pass their time in unalloyed happiness. Considering even so-called external misery as happiness, they consider even so-called external misery as happiness, right? Tomar sevai dukh hoye jato sheo to parama sukha. And those who are engaged in material enjoyment, which is not related to the Lord, pass their time in temporary adulterated happiness and distress. But yeah, the devotees pass all their time in unalloyed happiness, considering even so-called external misery as happiness. What is that verse? Jato deki something Vaishnavera vyavahara dukh tatapi janiye iha parananda sukh, something like that. But whatever we see for the Vaishnavas to be like, whatever seeming misery that they go through is actually for them the ultimate happiness. God, I forgot the verse though. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Haribol Prabhu, I think that is from the same chapter.
Same chapter, huh? Or is it? Do you know how it goes? I think it's Jato deki something vyavahara dukh, Vaishnaver vyavahara dukh, tatapi janiye something parananda sukh. Yeah. Okay. So Prabhu bole tomar vistar ache. Sorry. Whoops, I messed up. প্রভু বলে তোমার বিস্তর আছে ধন, তাহা তুমি লুকাইয়া করহ ভোজন, তাহা মুই বিদিত করিম কত দিনে, তবে দেখি তুমি লোক বাঁটিবা কেমনে। The Lord then said, "You have great wealth that you are secretly enjoying. I will soon disclose this to everyone. Then how will you cheat us?" Gaudiya Bhashya. After hearing Śrīdhara's words, what did Śrīdhara say? Yet time passes equally for everyone as they enjoy the fruits of their previous activities by the will of the Lord. The same for a king and is the same for a bird. So, after hearing these words of Śrīdhara, the Lord replied, You are already very rich, so there is no need for you to accumulate external mundane wealth. Therefore, you do not consider external worldly scarcity as poverty. One who is engaged in the service of the fully omnipotent Lord cannot have any weakness or scarcity at all. After a few days, I will reveal to the human society that is ignorant of the position and glories of the Vaishnavas, that the Vaishnavas are the sole proprietors of all wealth. It will no longer remain secret that the Vaishnavas are situated on the topmost platform and are the proprietors of everything, including all opulences. I will soon disclose this to all the foolish, ignorant people of the world. The materialists who are attached to sense, so that was what Nimāi said. The materialists who are attached to sense gratification and who are greedy for material advancement cannot measure the expertise and supremacy of the Vaishnavas through their own broken, limited yardstick. That is why they are completely cheated of receiving the Vaishnav's mercy and understanding the absolute truth. Since the value of their qualification is so meager, the Vaishnavas conceal their real identities from them. Śrīdhara bolen ghare chaloho pandita, tomai amai dvandva na hoy uchita. Śrīdhara said, O Pandit, please go home now. It is not proper for us to argue. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Lord externally accepted the doctrine of the Shakta philosophy and opposed the path of devotional service followed by Śrīdhara. The Lord, acting as one of the ordinary persons amongst whom there are differences of opinion, is actually disclosing the real form and process of Vaishnava philosophy on the pretext of questions and answers. Prabhu bole ami toma na chhari emone, ki amare diba taha bolo ekhone. The Lord said, I am not going to leave you so easily. First tell me what you'll give me. Gaudiya Bhashya. After Śrīdhara and the Lord personally exhibited pastimes of giving and taking, the Lord is trying to accept a portion of Śrīdhara's confidential internal and ordinary external wealth. His confidential internal and ordinary external wealth. Śrīdhara bolen ami Kolā-becā khai, ihate ki dimo taha bolo ho Goshai. Bolo Goshai, what can I give you? Ihate ki dimo. Ami Kolā-becā khai. Śrīdhara said, I maintain myself by selling leaf cups. So tell me, what can I give you, Goshai? Okay. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Lord personally displayed pastimes of poverty and want and accepted ingredients earned through the physical and mental labor of poverty-stricken poor people in order to benefit them. Śrīdhara said, According to your own calculation, whatever wealth I have is not even sufficient for me. Therefore, I cannot give charity like a wealthy person. What can I give you? The fruit of workers who are maddened with this material world are busy enjoying the fruits of their respective activities. They donate a portion of their wealth and become famous as charitable persons. but there is no possibility of achieving such fame for a poor penniless person like me. Prabhu bole je tomar pota dhana ache, se thakuk ekhone paibo taha pache, ebe kola mula thod deho bine, dile ami kondol na kori toma sane. The Lord said, "Let your hidden treasure remain for now. I'll take that later. For now, give me some bananas, banana flowers, and banana stalks free of charge. Then I won't argue with you." Gaudiya Bhashya. In answer to this, the Lord said, "At present, I do not want the spiritual wealth that you possess. I am only trying to take a portion of your external wealth. I will accept spiritual service from you after some time. For now, relieve my needs with your service as a sadhak. As a spiritual master, I am the worshipable object of sadhan bhakti. So for now, I will accept a portion of your ordinary wealth as an offering." In the Sri Narad Pancharatra, it is stated, Surarshe vihita shastre harim uddishya na ya kriya saiva bhaktir iti prokta taya bhakti para bhavet. O sage amongst the demigods, Narad, those activities prescribed in the revealed scriptures for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari, are called the regulative principles of bhakti, sadhan bhakti, by practicing which one may attain the highest bhakti, prem. Some people who are intoxicated by material existence think, whatever activities we must perform in this life, or the duties that are prescribed in this world by the Niti Shastras, must be totally followed as long as we have a human body. Apart from these duties, there is no need for performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord, because the Absolute Truth is neither a product of this material world nor perceivable by the senses. Rather, the Absolute Truth is just the opposite. So why should I endeavor for somebody who's not a product of this material world and is not perceivable by my senses? Therefore, as long as we are alive, we will remain fruit of enjoyers, and our only perceptual occupation will be to enjoy the fruits of our karma. Sorry, did I say perceptual? I meant to say perpetual. Our only perpetual occupation will be to enjoy the fruits of our karma. Service to the Supreme Lord is not our occupation. We will think about this in the next world, or after death. So that's what the karmis think. But they do not know that the material objects that we see are diametrically incompatible with each other. Both propensities, service and enjoyment, are present in every object, either in manifest or unmanifest form. If someone partially manifests an attitude for enjoying the object of worship, no one should count his service attitude on the same level as those with a pure one should not count his service attitude on the same level as those with a pure service attitude. To consider the object of worship as the ideal object of enjoyment is totally reprehensible. When a worshipper is self-realized, then his worship is purified. His perception of the worshipable object is purified, and the ingredients he offers in worship are purified. Oh, there's a verse from Bhagavad Gita like that. What is that? God, forgot it. Though many rituals in the process of worship appear incongruous from the external point of view, if one's intelligence for understanding the purport and essence of the Shrutis is awakened, then he can appreciate unalloyed devotional service, which is situated beyond material enjoyment and renunciation. Some persons who accept material enjoyment as the goal of life think that all objects of this visible world are unfit for the service of the Lord, and are simply meant for the enjoyment of the living entities. In other words, they are not ingredients for the service of the Lord. For the proper utility of all objects is to increase the living entity's thirst for sense enjoyment, not to be engaged in the service of the Lord. But Śrī Gaurasundar said, all objects can be seen in relationship to Krishna. If the living entities simply give up their attachment for sense gratification, then such vision is possible. If one renounces objects that are related to Krishna, considering them mundane, then he is misusing his renunciation. Actually, the purpose of renunciation is to give up attachment for matter and engage the minds in the Supreme Lord. Mane bhabe Śrīdhara uddhatta vipra bodo kon din amare kilai pache dodo marile o brahmanere ki korite pari kori bina pratidin dibare o nari tatapi ho bole chole je loy brahmane she amar bhagya bote dimu pratidine. Śrīdhara thought, this Brahmana is very aggressive. I am afraid that one day he will beat me. But even if he beats me, what can I do to a Brahmana? At the same time, I cannot supply him free of charge every day. Anyway, whatever this Brahman takes by force or deceit, that is my good fortune. So I'll continue to give him every day. Gaudiya Bhashya. One second. Harivo, Govinda Saha, and Indira Mataji. Okay, Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrīdhara Vipra thought, Prabhu has a very arrogant nature. If I do not act according to his will, then he may even beat me. Moreover, I am personally poor and unable to meet the expenses of my own food and clothing. Therefore, it is impossible for me to give anything free of cost. Nevertheless, a Brahman is a representative of the Supreme Lord. If I can help him without duplicity in any way, then there is a possibility of awakening my good fortune. For this reason, whatever he will take from me, either by force or trickery, I have no objection. I will be prepared to give him every day. If by his exhibition of force or trickery, this Brahman is benefited by me in any way, then I will consider it the result of my good fortune. Śrīdhara is saying this even though Śrīdhara himself is a Brahmana. That's his humility. By this pastime, Śrī Gaurasundar and his devotee Śrīdhara set an example for living entities who desire their own benefits to earn unknown piety. Although the Smarta communities are persons who are experts in worldly morality, consider the behavior of both as unsatisfactory and apparently contradictory, a living entity who is self-realized can understand that such exchanges are the source of unlimited auspiciousness. Great personalities who desire the welfare of other living entities give fallen souls the opportunity to earn unknown piety. It is to be understood that their apparent use of force and trickery is only for the benefit of others. In other words, for the benefit of the fallen souls. Chintiya Śrīdhara bole, Shunoho Goshai, Koripati tomar kichui dai nai. In this way, Śrīdhara said, listen, Goshai, don't worry about money. Thor kola mula kola dimu bhalo mane tobe ar kondol na koro amasane. I'll happily give you some bananas, banana flowers, leaf cups, and banana stalks, but please don't fight with me. Prabhu bole bhalo bhalo ar dvandva nai. The Lord said, good, then I won't fight anymore. But see that I get good quality bananas and banana stalks. Śrīdharer kolai nitya koren bhojan, Śrīdharer thor kola mula shri byanjan. The Lord daily used Śrīdhara's leaf cups, and he ate sabjis made from Śrīdhara's plantains, banana flowers, and banana stalks. শ্রীধরের গাছে যেয়ে লাউ ধরে চালে তাহা খায় প্রভু দুগ্ধ মরিচের ঝালে. Whenever a squash grew on the roof of Śrīdhara's cottage, the Lord would eat it, cooked with milk and black pepper. Okay, so when we make that preparation with lao and milk and sugar, like, then we should add some pepper to it, because that's how the Lord would eat it. Prabhu bole amare ki vasoho Śrīdhar, taha kahile ami choli jai ghar. The Lord then said, "Tell me, what do you think of me? After you answer this, I'll go home." So what do you think of me? Śrīdhar bolen tumi vipra Vishnu angsha, Prabhu bole na janila ami gopa vangsha. Śrīdhar replied, "You are a Brahmana, a portion of Lord Vishnu." The Lord said, "You do not know. Actually, I am from a Gopa family." Gaudiya Bhashya. In answer to the Lord's question, Śrīdhar replied, "O Pandit, you are a portion of Lord Vishnu." The Lord immediately protested, "Even though I am not a portion of Vishnu, in other words, even though I am the Swayam Roop, I am the source of all incarnations, I appear in the family of cowherd men. In other words, I am Krishna. I am Krishna, the son of Nanda." Tumi ama dekho jeno brahmana chawalo, ami apanare basi jeheno goalo. Although you see me as the son of a Brahmana, I consider myself a cowherd boy. Gaudiya Bhashya. Although you see me as a son of a Brahmana, I nevertheless know that I am the son of a cowherd. Hasen Śrīdhar shuni Prabhur vachan, na chinilo nija Prabhu mayar karan. Śrīdhar smiled at the Lord's words, but due to the illusory energy, he could not recognize his Lord. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since Sri Gaurasundar presently desires to conceal his covered or confidential scholastic pastimes by the supreme will of the Lord, Śrīdhar, the best of devotees and an eternal associate of the Lord, could not properly understand the hidden pastimes of his eternally worshipable Lord, Sri Gaur Krishna. Prabhu bole Śrīdhar tomare kohi tattva, ama hoite tor shab gangar mahatva. The Lord then said, "Śrīdhar, let me tell you the truth. The glories of your Ganga are due to me." One second, I'm just going to unplug this power cord so that, because people keep on having to duck under it when they walk back and forth. One second. Okay. So the Lord then said, "Śrīdhar, let me tell you about the truth. The glories of your Ganga are due to me." Gaudiya Bhashya. While describing the truth about himself, the Lord said to Śrīdhar, "All that you have heard about the special glories of Ganga, who springs from the lotus feet of Vishnu, that Ganga and her glories have emanated from me. In other words, I am the original cause of the Ganga." Śrīdhar bolen, "Oh hey Pandit Nimāi, Ganga kori ao ki tomar bhoy nai." Tomar bhoy nai? Śrīdhar replied, "Nimāi Pandit, aren't you afraid of insulting Ganga in this way? Tomar bhoy nai, you don't have any fear?" Gaudiya Bhashya. In reply to this, Śrīdhar said, "You are so arrogant that you do not believe that Ganga, who purifies all living entities, is the destroyer of sins? Besides that, you not only consider yourself superior to Ganga, you even claim to be the source of the Ganga. Boyosha barile loka kota sthir hoye, tomar chapalya aro dviguna baroye. One is supposed to become sober as he grows up, but I see that your restlessness has doubled. Gaudiya Bhashya. As a man gets older, his childhood restlessness gradually diminishes. But what is this? I see that your restlessness is gradually increasing with your age. E mata Śrīdharer sange ranga kori, ailena nija grihe Gauranga Śrīhari. After joking with Śrīdhara in this way, Lord Gauranga returned to his home. Vishnu dware boshilen Gauranga sundar, chalila parua varga jar jatha ghar. Śrī Gaurasundar sat down at the door of his Vishnu temple, and his students all returned to their homes. Dekhi Prabhu Purnamasi Chandrer Uday, Vrindavana Chandra Bhavo Hoilo Hridoy. As Nimāi saw the full moon one night, his heart became absorbed in the mood of Sri Vrindavan Chandra. Okay, we're going to stop at this point here. Yeah. Nimāi then began to play a flute in a most enchanting tune, which only Mother Shachi could hear. When Mother Shachi heard the sound of that flute, which attracts the three worlds, she fell unconscious in ecstasy. After a while, she regained consciousness and steadied her mind. She steadied her mind as she continued listening to the wonderful sound of the flute. Shachi then noticed that the enchanting sound of the flute was coming from the direction where Nimāi was sitting. Mother Shachi came outside in astonishment and saw that her son was sitting at the door of the Vishnu temple. She could no longer hear the sound of the flute, but she saw the full moon on the chest of her son. Seeing the moon on the chest of her son, Shachi was struck with wonder and began looking around. Mother Shachi then went back inside and began to think about the reason for such a vision. In this way, the most fortunate Mother Shachi saw unlimited manifestations of opulence. Anyways, we'll read this whole tomorrow. We will complete this chapter 12. Jai Shachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Oh, and it's only 8:15, so we have a good amount of time. What should we? Maybe we should sing a kirtan. Oh, that's so nice. Rup Manjari said that that her mother, Nimāi Mataji, she cooked this preparation of lau with milk sugar and black pepper, and she read that section while they were eating. She read that section of Caitanya-bhāgavata that we just read. That's so nice. You're so blessed to have a mother like that. All right. So, does anybody have any kirtan requests? You can let me know, because we have some time. Yeah, let me know if you have any. If there are any kirtans you'd like me to sing now. Otherwise, if nobody says anything, I'll just pick something myself.
Haribol Prabhu, Dandapam. Gauranga tumi more dayana chhadiho.
Okay, Shubhananda Prabhu, I'll sing that. Okay. Okay, sharing my screen. Let's sing this now. Gauranga tumi more dayana chhadiho. 1 second. Gauranga tumi. Okay. O Gauranga, do not fail to bestow your causeless do not fail to bestow your mercy upon me. Making me your own, keep me close to the reddish soles of your lotus feet. This is written by Vasudev Ghosh. For your lotus feet, I have renounced everything. Upon attaining those cooling lotus feet, I have taken shelter of them. I have abandoned worldly family life, now and hereafter. Please keep me at your lotus feet and call me your own. Grasping your lotus feet, Vasudev Ghosh prays, kindly keep me here, forever giving me the shade of your feet. O Gauranga, tumi more daya na chadi ho. Gauranga, tumi more daya na chadi ho. Apana koriya ranga charane rakhi ho. Apana koriya ranga charane rakhi ho. Gauranga, tumi more daya na chadi ho. Gauranga, tumi more daya na chadi ho. Tomara charana lagi sabate yagino. Tomara charana lagi sabate yagino. Shitala charana paya sharana loyeno. Shitala charana paya sharana loyeno. Gauranga, tumi more daya na chadi ho. Gauranga, tumi more daya na chadi ho. Ekule okule mui dilo tilanjali. Ekule okule mui dilo tilanjali. Raki ho charane more apnar boli. Raki ho charane more nara boli Gauranga tumi more daya na chhadi ho Gauranga tumi more daya na chhadi ho Vasudeva ঘোষা বলে চরণে ধরিয়া বাসুদেব ঘোষ বলে চরণে ধরিয়া কৃপা করি রাখো কৃপা করি রাখো মোরে পদ ছায়া দিয়া কৃপা করি রাখো মোরে পদ ছায়া দিয়া গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মোরে দয়া না ছাড়ি হো গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মোরে দয়া না ছাড়ি হো আপন করিয়া রাঙ্গা চরণে রাখি আপন করিয়া রাঙ্গা চরণে রাখি হো গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মোরে দয়া না ছাড়ি হো গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মোরে দয়া না ছাড়ি হো হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Jai Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinandan, Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari, Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nimāi Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Giridhari ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudeva ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Sai Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Gosai Maharaj ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai, Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Nityal Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, Sharda Gosai Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Prem se Koho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Sarva Abhishta Vradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Radha Kunda Shamakund ki Jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai, Gauriya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Śrī Kolā-becā Śrīdhara ki Jai, Swaparshad Gaur Hari ki Jai, Śrī Nimāi Pandit ki Jai, Śrī Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams everybody. Hare Krishna. Nri Hari Prabhu Dandavat Pranams. Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Shubhananda Prabhu, Champak Didi, and Rup Manjari Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Brishti Roy, Amit Krishna Prabhu, Sudevi Didi, Govinda Saha, and Dira Mataji, and everybody there. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Oh, and one request I have for all of you is one of my very close friends. Her husband's mother, just a little bit before this program, well, this morning, for me this morning, sorry. So earlier this morning, she passed away. Her name was Mary, and she's, from what I've heard, she's a very kind, loving mother and grandmother. And so if everybody could pray for her, that she has an auspicious destination. It'd be best if she's born in a Vaishnava family. Otherwise, that she comes into Vaishnava association very soon in her next life. If everybody could pray for her, that would be really nice. Right, thank you. And I'll see you all tomorrow to read the rest of this chapter. Okay, Nri Hari Prabhu is saying that he's praying for her. Great, thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Alright, just checking on the... Alright, Hare Krishna everybody. See you tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe.